Hi guys.
Hey,
How are you today?
oh, you're fine. How are you?
I'm good. We're just waiting for Geof here
Geof.
to join. Hi everybody who is joining. This is our third
Hello,
live.
guys.
Yay!
Yeah,
We're persevering.
sure.
So
It's
hopefully.
amazing that you know that.
What's amazing? Keep.
It's amazing that you're now that live. You didn't know that
It
you
is.
will
Right?
reach this far.
So Geof is having technical problems, but we'll keep trying to add him.
Okay.
You know, sometimes happens. But meanwhile, maybe we'll start talking, and maybe we'll start with our big announcement, right? That we now have a community where we want to continue these conversations and involve more people. Do you want to talk a little bit more about what we want to do with it, since it's our joint project?
Okay. So this project is here to empower different creatives in different aspects, so that it can support them and also try to implement, like try to keep their dream alive, so that they should not stop creating. So basically, we came up with this concept with Anna from our previous live, where we had a lot of chats about different issues that different creatives pass through. So Anna came up with this idea whereby this us talking about these important topics as creatives, it shouldn't stop on only us, but the voice has to continue to also other creatives out there, so that they can also raise a voice through their art, so that they can also raise the voice through their art. So this, because every creative has his own aspect while creating, or has his own way he can like drive to his final creations. So we may use our own way to create and send awareness, but when we give an opportunity to some other creatives as well, they may come up with something even better. So this community is here to support us and other creatives around Africa and around the world.
Wonderful. So we called it Creative Community Africa. So it's creative_community_Africa. So join us there as well. We'll have some exciting things to share in the next few weeks.
Sure.
We'll try to do challenges for young designers and creatives. We'll try to do a lot of interesting things. So that would be our additional account for all of us to share and participate. So please do join us, and you will see us publicizing it on our pages in the coming weeks. So yeah, we'll see you there as well as on our own accounts. But meanwhile, as we're waiting for Geof, maybe we'll just start talking about the show. So we are on the third conversation about the Tribal Chic Fashion Show that you've participated in. And we talked about how you're preparing for the show. We talked about Subi, and met with Subi last time to just talk about what inspired you and why you decided to talk about the system of education and what education means in our lives as creatives and just, you know, people in the modern world. So maybe today we just talk about the show itself, because I'm sure everybody is curious how it felt. It, you know, it's one thing to see it from the, you know, from the front row or even the back row, and it's a very different thing to actually participate in it. So let me, so Geof is here. I'm going to try to add him quickly. But meanwhile, let's start about talking about the show. So one thing that I always wanted to ask the designers, but I never had the chance, is how do you plan the sequence of the outfits? So you have 10 outfits, right? And then somehow you decide who comes first, who comes next, and then who is the last one. So the last one, I kind of understand that was the only outfit for a guy, for a male, and it was really kind of the tada outfit that was really into your face, very loud outfit. So I understand why that was the last one, but in between them there were 9 other outfits. So maybe you can talk about how you plan to the sequence of the outfits in your show.
When we were creating this collection, we had different thoughts, being that we had 2 different creatives, so we had different thoughts. So at first, we always first come up with sketches. So we came up with different sketches individually, like basing on the concept we had. So after that, we came together and discussed the sketches that we came up with. So how we came up with a sequence, basically we wanted to have wanted to have a design that is calm, and a design that could introduce the whole concept of the collection first, so that people can really get into it. Then another design that would come next would be a bit charming than the first one. So that was how we got the sequence of the whole collection. So for the last piece, we never wanted to leave out what really identifies us as Seamline Atelier, what people really knew us from. So those are the avant-garde pieces. So we wanted to create an avant-garde piece that could truly represent us. So that's why we ended with that, and it was the only it was the only male outfit in our collection representing the other gender, so that it could really stand out. So basically, when we are creating our sequence, it depends on the energy of the outfit and the energy we have as creatives while creating the collection, and the pieces and the individual pieces as well.
Hi, Geof. You're with us now.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, hi. Great. So we can hear you and we can see you. So we're glad you can overcome the technical challenges. So welcome.
Finally,
Welcome.
I have been able to overcome that.
Fantastic.
But good to be here.
Great. We're happy to have you. So we started talking a little bit about the show already, and we talked about how how designers in Seamline in the last show usually organize the outfits in the show. So they start with kind of low energy outfits, right, and then increase the energy as the show goes along, and then at the end there is like a big tada, the big piece that kind of summarizes everything. So give us an example like of low energy outfit, high energy outfit. So how do you rate them?
While creating, we create a piece that is like, we can create an avant-garde outfit that all these outfits are going to come from. Okay, that is the last outfit, the last outfit that we showcased of the man, of that guy. Yeah, that's how we do it. When we're creating, we tone them down from that. I can say dark blue, you come to like navy blue, like toning the outfits down. That's why when you are showcasing, you see the simplest outfit. That is the first outfit to come on the runway. That's the first outfit to come out. Yeah, that's why when we are creating, we look at that, and we look at the let me say basic, the way, like what are the outfits that inspires us. I can say, let me say, it can be like where these outfits came from. It's the main piece. That is the main piece. Yeah, that's the outfit we use. We go on toning down to the most simplest or like the easiest outfit. That's how we do it.
Okay, that's really interesting. So since now Geof is here, let's talk about the accompaniment for the runway. So I've never, maybe just my lack of experience with fashion shows, but I've never seen anybody using a poem as accompaniment for a runway. I thought it was absolutely a creative idea, very unique one, and very interesting one. How did you come up with that idea?
This idea came...
Whoever wants to
answer. You can...
Okay. So this idea came in our first project that we did about child sacrifice. So when we were creating this collection, we had the feeling that we wanted to compare, like to bring in someone that could also really bring out that energy that we had while creating the collection. So we thought, because being that we are fashion designers that think like poets, we incorporated in like we wanted to bring in someone that can do poem, that can really bring out something that is really in line with the creations that we did. So that's how we brought in Geof in that project of child sacrifice, so that the message could not really, because some people don't really understand the pieces when they see them on like physically, but when you add in a message, like a voice at the back of the outfits, it can really explain to them what is the aim of the collection. So that's how we brought in Geof, and we also wanted to bring in other, like it wouldn't only be a good thing if we do these collections and we only like center them in one sector of creatives, like the fashion sector. That's why we wanted to also bring in other creatives from the poem sector, because our creations are in line with poetry. So yeah, that's how we brought in Geof. And when it came to this project, I was like, yeah, we should work with him again.
Great. So that was my next question. If you knew Geof before, but clearly you knew each other long before this collection. So Geof, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? And you can start with your educational experience, because this is what the collection is about, right? The educational experience, and then when people come out of school, what they do. So tell us about your journey.
Yeah, I was actually, just to start with, I was just so privileged to work with Seamline again. Actually, when you asked before I even introduced me as me, Edward reaches out to me through a friend during the lockdown as also just a writer who puts stuff online, does poetry online. So he reaches out to me and tells me a first project, which was child sacrifice. And literally, we did that as a remote project. We didn't meet. We were simply writing stuff, extracts, and then sending to each other via WhatsApp. And we managed to come up with a piece that really worked as an accompaniment for the entire runway. And I was shocked, because I personally also didn't have that experience. But talking about myself, who is Geof the poet? I'm Geof Senyondo, that is my name. Geof Senyondo. I'm a very passionate Ugandan spoken word artist. I literally try to write and educate through my original content that I write myself. I'm not so good at reciting people's content. So I'm inspired through experience, imagination, my passion to make a difference, and I write for various topics. So I usually speak for the marginalized, highlight the social injustices, and also promote social consciousness. So that is my part of like the pursuit of what I really do, what drives me in my write-up as a poet. My educational journey is quite funny, but just an amazing one. I started school in a very deep, I would call it a deep district called Rakai district, which is now called Trotter district, at a small school called St. Tizito Sabina Primary School. That's where I did my primary level right from childhood to T7. Then I went to St. John's SS Ugandan, where I did O level, and I was passionate about mathematics. I wasn't so good in English, by the way. I was just good at mathematics and physics, things to do with that. I think that explains what I did at A level. I went to Seta High School, did STEM art, that is physics, economics, mathematics, and then some fine art. So the creativity was there in terms of art. I was good at miming in school. So I'm a guitarist, so I tried to do a lot of that kind. At university, I did mechanical engineering. I'm a mechanical engineer by profession.
Oh wow, that's impressive. Okay.
That explains why I love mathematics, and I always love stuff that involves algorithm, stuff that involves iteration, and when it comes to poetry, it also extracts how I extract my information and stuff like that. So that is a little bit about me. Yeah.
Great. So, did you know Subi, by the way, before this project?
In this regard, in this particular project, the person called Suvi, I've not really met him, like personally, but I used the description they gave me, what Eric and Edward shared with me at office, to come up, to reconstruct that person and bring out the atrocities or the challenges that we face as we go through school, the hope that we usually have in a uniform as per se, because literally when I was taken to school the first day, they told me, you're going to make it. Like, the moment you finish school, you're going to be at the top of this world. I'm sorry to say that after school, I shall have to hustle my life through. Yeah, that's the most challenging bit about our system. But, yeah. So I've not met Suvi as a person, but I reconstructed. Yeah.
Okay. So tell us, how did you come up with the poem? How did you get inspired, and how did you kind of plan the poem? Did you see the collection before you started writing? I know you participated in putting together the collection. Did you see the collection before you started writing, or you just wrote it and then you saw the collection?
Yeah, so what happened the first time we discussed about this whole project, I was able to be given the ideation session whereby they told me about what we are going to be tackling. I hadn't seen the outfit myself, but they organized that meeting, so I went to their workshop. I was able to witness the uniforms, part of what they were constructing. So, literally, as a poet or as a writer, I tried to envision, like in my head, I was trying to envision how it looked from the day someone goes to school and the day they finish school, what literally happens. So I tried to, my first stanza of the poem tries to elaborate, tries to bring out the fact that it's about fashion. So I tried to create a fashion statement in my regard to the poem, showing that a uniform is what I'm trying to tackle here, but trying to use some of the things they use, like from the terms they use within their outfit, things like baby suit. I'm trying to bring out the fact that these are people trying to build this uniform. And in that regard, after I did some bit of the construction, I had to present it. Upon which they tried to create a few changes here and there to suit. And I think that's how we were able to polish a lot of these things. It took us something like a week to really come up with this piece. I remember very well because there was that bit of polish here, trying to change there, and it was a two-way kind of journey. They helped me out to come up with this. Yeah.
That's really interesting. So you try to keep in mind that it's the accompaniment for the fashion show. So you use the words that would associate with the fashion show, the fabric, suits, uniforms, and things like that. So there is this theme of fashion. At the same time, there is this theme of uniforms and schooling, and they kind of interact. That's really interesting. So let me ask now, Seamline guys. So when you told the organizers at Tribal Chic that you're going to be using a poem as an accompaniment, what did they say?
Their feedback was positive. Okay. They were like, it's okay. But I don't know if they were surprised or not, but yeah, it was positive.
Great. So, but nobody else used it. So I think it helped you to stand out in the fashion show, right?
Yeah, and also you got some feedback from the audience whereby people reached out and were like, they thought that someone was out there speaking these words, you get.
Yeah.
So they were surprised. They didn't expect to see a poem on the runway. So it was an interesting thing.
Yeah, it was definitely very, very unusual. I was excited that you were doing it because as I said, I've never seen it before. And I think it just totally brings it together, the collection, but it also kind of explains the collection and what's going on for the main message to come through, which is really important, right? That it's not just a runway, but there is a strong message to it. How did the models feel about it? Did you talk to the models?
Yeah, when we went for the first fitting, the models were excited because they were seeing uniforms and everything. They were like, wow, this is a great collection. So after like them putting on and fitting on, we explained to them what's behind the collection, and they were relating to it because they told us this is the same thing that is happening in their country, and someone has to come out and talk about it. And also they were surprised that it's from fashion designers. You get, it's not from politicians. It's not from like people that talk about social issues, but it's from artists. So it was a good experience.
Great. So tell us about the fitting itself. How did that go? I mean, this is the first step for the fashion show, right? To have the fitting, to see how your uniforms sit on the models. So how did that go?
For the fitting, it went on very, very good. But some of the models, the clothes didn't fit them well because we didn't know their sizes. Some of them, when you see the pictures on the runway, the sleeves were up here. If you recognized that.
Okay.
Yeah, they were up here. That's why we say they were not fitting, and we didn't have time to redo or to adjust. Yeah, we found that as probably like a problem or a challenge. Yeah, but the second fitting, it went on very, very, very well, and the models liked our outfits. They were enjoying them. We recorded some videos, but we were not able to get them back. Yeah, that's why we don't have the how can I say the backstage videos. We don't have them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that happens sometimes, but I'm just wondering. So I don't think the challenges with models not being the exact size is something unique, right? Because I'm seeing now that a lot of designers from Africa are at the Runway show in Paris. So they also traveled, and they traveled to Europe with their collections. So this is probably a common experience that you kind of get the measurements of the models, but you can't predict things like the height, the size that they're wearing, but you can't predict how long their arms might be. Maybe they're longer, maybe they're shorter, because everybody's body is unique, right? You can't predict the proportions of the body to the legs, which is also very
that's yeah, that's right. This came as an experience, so we learned from it, and in case of anything else, we will do, like, we know what to do now. We know how to handle that issue of measurements, and also working with people that are not with us. So it's something that we learned from there.
So what would be your advice for other designers who have to travel and don't have a choice of a model, and kind of see the model and see that something doesn't fit right? So what do you do in the 2 days
the
that
advice,
before? Yeah.
The advice that would give them is that they should always leave room for adjustments in their pieces, so that in case of anything, they can adjust them faster than just not like doing something that is small that may not be readjusted, but it needs redoing. So it's always better to leave in that allowance of adjustments in their pieces.
Great.
Yeah.
So Geof, tell us, have you seen the video from the runway?
Yeah, actually, I saw some bit of portions, but I was excited, not just to hear my voice in the background, but I was shocked to the fact seeing my two good friends take those staircases up and down and hearing our brand being spoken about. I was really so excited about that. And like they all know that I expressed that to them.
Would you change anything when you saw the video? Like, there was a poem, there were the models, there was how it all came together. Did you think something didn't really match how you imagined it would be, or everything was as you expected?
No, actually, to my confession, I have to say this is great creativity that I didn't expect. As a poet, sometimes you're driven to think it's just your microphone stand, and then you're going to speak to people. You don't see the fact that we can add something to such a creative space like fashion and branding. Actually, my friends that have been able to see to even get like the audio that was posted yesterday, those who are able to listen about it, highlighting about this live, people are wondering how do poetry even add value to fashion? Like, they could not believe that. So I have to applaud Seamline that they really put outside the box over this, and I believe it really has a future. It really has a future.
Yeah, I think you came up jointly with a really interesting model where both the poetry and fashion come together, and then each reinforces each other, and then the message becomes much stronger. So this is a really interesting concept. And now, since we're talking about the show, did you watch the show? So you were not on the runway from the beginning to the end, right? You only came out at the last however 10 seconds. Did you watch the runway?
Honestly, we didn't get that chance. We are still in the we're still in the panic mode. We're still like trying to understand what's going on at the moment, because we are just from rushing to put on, like, to dress models and all that, make that this thing is perfect, this is perfect, this is perfect. So we didn't get that chance to watch the all runway.
Oh, I'm sorry. So you're watching it on the video together with everybody else for the first time. Well, that's something else, right? So sometimes I heard it from my favorite fashion designer is Diane from Swinburne. I've been following her for a while, and I just like her as a person because she's a very strong woman. She was born in post-war Europe, and she made this fantastic journey from just a girl growing up in post-war Europe to being the brand recognized globally and a really influential brand. So she mentioned several times as well that she would never make it to see her own runway, because you get stuck in the back room preparing the models, and then you just run for the last moment to show your face on the runway, but you don't actually see and enjoy the runway.
That's right.
I think that's the amazing thing. I think that's the most amazing thing about creativity. Once you're into production, sometimes you may not even see your product. You watch it later, and that is the most amazing thing about the whole thing of any art form that you're engaged in. So sorry, Ed, if you guys didn't watch, you have to watch like us.
It's okay.
This is an interesting point, right? As creatives, we don't always see the product at the same time as everybody else. We have to watch it later and enjoy it after the people that we are making it for. How does it make you feel?
I think to me,
no, it's okay. You can
go ahead, Geof.
Yeah, okay, maybe. Yeah, to me, I think what I usually think is I try to focus on that moment whereby I feel I've done enough practice. So I try to not to think about what I will watch later, but I try to make sure I deliver at that point. So I don't have a big concern why I'm not watching at the same time the audience is watching. My only fear is if I happen to watch later and I happen not to produce the way I wanted to produce it. But that is a fear for everyone. That's a fear for everyone.
Yeah.
So what about you guys at Seamline?
Yeah, it's the same thing, because when after the show, when we were watching the videos, we noticed some things that did not go as we had planned. So we're like, this had to be here, this has to be here. We forgot this and this, but people could not notice that because they didn't prepare this for it. They were not the ones that created this. So yeah, it felt like we didn't feel so well about it, but it is an experience also to pick something and learn and see what we can do better next time.
Right. So.
And I think they should.
Go ahead.
The problem is panic behind backstage. There's much panic. I think they should find a way to solve out that issue, because we find ourselves doing mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Out of panic.
Mm-hmm.
Yet you, the customer, you can't realize this, but we who did the outfits, we can realize it. Okay. I think they should find out how to solve out that issue. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that we all have to think about for fashion shows, like how to control the chaos and panic in the back room, because they will be happening. The chaos and panic will be happening. So how to manage it better. And that's a lesson, right? Also going forward, how to manage it better, how to manage to control it so that you can breathe out and have this last look at your outfits and actually catch these mistakes before the models go to the runway, right? So having some breathing room is important in that regard. But now, so tell us, but you did make it to the stage, right?
Yeah,
when the names were called, did you even realize what was happening?
Honestly, we are still in shock. We didn't know that we did it, like we had showcased that tribal chick. It was a dream come true. So just know there's no words that can express it honestly. But we are so happy that our name was called, and seeing how far we have come as a brand, like having a dream that was just on a paper, a dream that started on a paper that's now on a big stage. It was something else, honestly. And we appreciate and we are so grateful for that.
Thank you, Anna.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm so happy that it worked out. So now tell us, after the show, so you had a lot of conversations with various people after the show.
Yeah.
Who did you meet that you knew from the Ugandan fashion world, the Kenyan fashion world, any new people? So what happened right after the show?
So after the show, we were reached out by many people, honestly. A lot of Kenyan people reached out to us. A lot of Kenyan creatives reached out to us, like trying to appreciate our collection and how we had presented it to them. So the most people that people that we like were so looking up to meet. It was Rona and Anna from Kikoromo brand, which is from Kenya. So we are excited.
Kikoromo, right?
Yeah, Kikoromo, yeah, from Kenya. So it was a great experience that we were able to be on the same stage with them, and we also got a chance to tell them that this is we didn't expect ourselves to be on the same stage with you guys, because we used to look up to you guys and you still inspire us. So yeah, those are some of the people that we really like met, and it was a great experience.
Yeah, and then after the show you had the pop-up, right?
Yeah, we had the pop-up. So at the pop-up, we also people still came through. We got we also got a chance to meet one of the best designers here in Uganda called Santa. She was surprised to see Ugandan designers there, because she didn't know that she would meet any. So she was surprised, and she was so proud that we represented Uganda so well, and we had a unique design line that we had created, and it was an amazing time. Also, we also felt like we felt good that we met these guys there, and yeah, it was a great thing. It was a great thing. We also we got a chance to meet Maria Kuchwa. She was part of the designers that were showcased at the tribe, and she liked our collection as well. She gave us feedback. So it was a great experience.
So Geof, among the people that the guys met, who was your favorite? I'm sure you followed their journey at the fashion show. Who was your favorite celebrity that they met?
Actually, the truth is the fact that they happened to meet a Ugandan designer who we look up to in Uganda as one of the best designers, and they meet him not at a stage whereby like you are going for a show somewhere, so you're like, let me just meet this guy. This time you meet him in the sphere of showcase, like you're showcasing your stuff almost like on the same runway. That to me made a whole bit. I know there were so many others we met out there. The Kenyan, some of the Kenyan friends I've had in Kenya who have listened to my poetry were able to tell me that it's like we had some guys came around, and you guys they were telling us some guy produced a poem in Kenya, but we don't know exactly much of his information. And the other feedback was when Eddie told me some people are asking who the poet is. To me, I think it gave a whole kind of package that we didn't expect to see in our line of creativity, that we were able to be exposed to. Literally, I would say, what a great start of the year. It's a good start of the year.
Yeah. I think, one of the things we should have done, we should have printed Geof's poem and just give out to everybody, so that they had it with them. Next time we should do that. It's
sure.
In hindsight, that would be a great giveaway to just
exactly
and send them, right? But
that's right.
Yeah, that would be a fantastic experience. So let's talk more about the the pop-up, because I know sometimes they go really well, sometimes they don't go really well. It depends kind of on a lot of different things. But maybe for some of the designers who would come after you, what would be your advice for the pop-up? So what did you learn? Because that's an opportunity for designers, not just to meet other designers, but to make a little bit of money, right? To make sure that people buy their collection or buy their ready-to-wear line. So what would be some of the things that you learned and you would use next time, or you would give as an advice to other people?
So what other designers, like young designers like us, should put in mind if they go for these big fashion shows, especially when it has the pop-up side. So for the pop-up, they should always be curious, like they should ask questions. They should always be informed, like where the pop-up is going to take place. They should first go there and visit the place and see how they could get a clear space they can display their pieces. Because for us, the challenge that we got, we were new in this place and we didn't know exactly how the show runs. So we didn't get a chance to ask in time where the pop-up was going to take place. So it happened, we reached the place where they took us where the pop-up was going to happen, when most of the places, like good display places, are all taken. So it was a challenge, and we had not yet displayed our pieces yet. So it was a challenge that we got at that time, because we reached in the place where the pop-up was going to take place late. So for designers that are upcoming designers, they should always take this serious, and also ask in time and organize before others, because for these big designers, for them they're always given it a chance, or they are always brought first in some places because they are known, and you get. So it's always better to ask and be given an opportunity to always set up first or do your things in time. So it will be helpful as well.
To add on Edward's speech point, it's about late communication, or like we used to communicate, but see, we didn't get the right feedback. They used to tell us, wait, we are going to call you after this person. After that person, after that person, another person is called in, but yet they told us we the next. So yeah, so I think they were miscommunicating people, miscommunicating designers. That's the challenge we faced. Most challenge we faced when we had pop-up and behind runway, model fittings. Yeah.
So I think one of the things is that maybe a lot of shows like this, they're set up for experienced designers. They don't necessarily have, how should I say, they don't necessarily make accommodations, or they don't necessarily plan for people for whom such a big show maybe is the first show. So that's one of the things. So hence they might make assumptions that you already know how things should be running while you don't. So maybe one of the feedback might be for the designers, or one of the lessons, that sometimes it pays to over communicate, right? So there is no shame in asking a lot of questions, because maybe you will feel silly at some point asking questions, and they'll be like, duh, you should know that, but you don't, right? So your job as a designer, especially as a new designer at such a show, is to ask as many questions as you need to ask to get to that right information, and don't expect that somebody will give it to you, right? Because they don't know. You might be experienced, you might not. They don't know you really well, especially if you're coming from a different country. So you have to ask a lot of questions, right? That's one thing.
It's about like we like, let me put like Seamline in that position. Like we used to communicate earlier, but then for them turning the feedback, they don't turn a clear feedback to us. Yeah,
but it's a lesson that that we learned, as you have said. Most of people like have that assumption that you already know how everything runs. So like over communication has to also happen so that we can also like so that we can also be on the same page. And also the challenge that we got where we didn't have an assistant at the moment, so it was a bit challenging to work on the pop-up and also work on the backstage organized model. So we used to divide ourselves. We go down and do this, and so it was a bit challenging. So it's also something that we learned from there. So yeah, I believe
next time
to be something good.
Yeah. So also some of the things that I heard from you as tips for other designers. So get there early, see the pop-up place, plan where you can display your things, book the place early before they go to the big designers. So be very, very proactive as much as you can be, because sometimes it's difficult, as you said, if there are only two of you, and you have to also manage the fittings of the models and everything. But trying to get everywhere early and plan and ask a lot of questions and get good place is really important. But then also I was wondering, what do people buy at such shows? So what was your observation from what people bought from you, what people were buying from other designers? Like a lot of times people come for entertainment and then they pick up something, but what is that something that they would pick up at fashion shows?
For our case, because I'll speak for our case because we engaged mostly with our pieces. So for our case, most people like loved the accessories, and those are the most pieces that were really bought, because it brought memories to them when they saw these things. So they came to support because of that, and also they loved the collection. The only challenge that we had, the first pop-up, we were not able to display the pieces that we had on the runway. So we displayed other pieces that were not on the runway, so people were not a bit familiar to them. So that was also a challenge to us. So that's why they were not so engaging when it came to those pieces. But for the accessories, we had plenty of them. So some of them were at the pop-up already. So people really engaged. So when they saw our store, they were like, "Oh, yo! So this is Seamline. Yo, you guys, we loved everything. That we are here to support because of the story and the memories that you have brought to us." So yeah, they bought the accessories more for our case. Yeah.
So it's like two things that I heard is, first, you have to make sure that what you display in your booth is aligned with what's on the runway, right? So people can recognize what your booth and what you're selling and how it's connected to what you were just showing, right? And the second thing is kind of smaller pieces rather than the runway outfits themselves, right? So people can pick up memories like accessories, bags, jewelry, something like that. The poem from Geof, hopefully as a memory, but not plan that people would come and buy something huge, right? So maybe build these relationships and say, this is my Instagram, so whenever you're ready to buy the full outfit, I'll be here waiting for you. Or here's my, creative community in Africa. So come there as well.
Actually, I'm even surprised that these guys had accessories, because literally the outfit was more. I would think I was about to ask Eddie, how did you guys sell off those outfits? Because they were literally educative outfits, like you don't expect to find someone wearing in the market or something like that. So when I hear things like accessories were there to sell. I think that's a way of about creativity, which is so good. I just believe maybe with more engagement in terms of getting to the place earlier, being able to find your good location where your clients can easily get you, understanding your team that maybe you're strained, then you get a closer space so that you don't have to really move a very big distance to get back to the backstage and then come back to your booth or something like that. So I think it's a good challenge that we can learn from, and we are surely we are overcoming it as we go to other more opportunities that are coming.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you should think about more opportunities, but maybe not even as the fashion show, as the big fashion show, which this is also an opportunity, but like having small collabs with Geof, like for one outfit, maybe a poem and an outfit, which would be really, really interesting. Okay, great. I'm fresh out of questions. Do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Okay. For my case, I'm just happy that we connected with different creatives when it comes to us, like as designers. This whole thing that we have been doing, it's an eye-opening that fashion is not just about fancy pieces, or it's not only about just like we shouldn't put it only on our side, but it should be open to the creative world, you get, whereby we can bring in Geof, we can bring in a visual artist, we can bring in someone so that our voice is heard, so that we communicate to the people, so that we can also have our art can be valued in a way. So it's a lesson that we learned, and I believe people that are online right now that are watching us, they can also pick something that it's when it comes to the creative world, it's not only about one creative sector, but it takes all of us as the creative industry. Yeah.
And in my case, I would think my final thought would be, first of all, I have to really thank Seamline and Madam Anne for really giving us this space. The truth be said, as a poet, I hadn't seen myself on such a platform. I know there are so many ways of killing a rat, but seriously, these are totally overthought ways. I can now tell that stories can be told by anything, especially in our setup in Africa. When you study about our history, people used to use drums, others used to use different forms like congas or whatever. But now I'm seeing the storyline being said and told by pieces of fabric, and that is what is totally important. Because at the end of the day, we need to tell the generations to come before us that these social injustices that were here, we literally did just battle them with maybe going to the street and causing chaos, but we devised means of speaking about them that at the end of the day, it was so educative that the generation before and the one after us can now really attest to the fact that we use our creativity to bring out these things. And seeing like do that, hearing them talk about engaging like a visual artist, engaging maybe musicians, yes, they've been engaged in terms of how they outfit themselves. I believe we have, if it's like the light at the end of the tunnel, we have a whole sun. We have a whole sun waiting for us. Yeah.
I agree. So what I'm hearing is collaboration is always better and stronger, right? In delivering your message.
Yeah.
It's always better to collaborate because in this case, 1 + 1 is definitely more than 2.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Area, what's your message?
My message, yeah, I'm sending to the creatives is let's continue collaborating. Let's continue working together. Together we can push forward. Together we can break the boundaries. You know, yeah, that's it. And I thank you, Anna, for the opportunities you gave us. I'm grateful for the platform. Yeah. Yeah, just know I'm very, very happy to be part of this project and everything that went on. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, on that positive note, let's part for today, and we'll continue our conversation next week. And there will be more interesting stories to come.
Sure.
So humble. Thanks very much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Have a wonderful night.